everyone, it's Chris here with Northern Bullet. Another oldie but goldie from here. So, and again, it's a recent acquisition from me, but an old figure overall. I mean, this says it all. MMS239 Black Widow. So this is the Winter Soldier version, as you can see. It's all part of my sort of desire to get an earlier version of a figure, or a character I should say, and then get a later version. Just see they stack up for a whole Infinity War type situation on there. So I've already got my Infinity War Black Widow pre-ordered. I'm one of the few people that actually really like her, in all fairness, on there. So I can't wait to get her. A lot of people have already got them early, so fair play. Let's have a quick look overall and let's find out what we decide on this girl. Okay, so first thing to mention for this box is massive plus for me is that it's simply a shoebox lid. If you've watched any of my other videos, you'll notice one of the things that annoy me is when it's a sort of a sealed top, when you sort of have to peel it back, as it were, to get into the figure. And my standard sort of issue is that why don't they use the shoe boxes, same with the Star Wars figures, and for this they have. Totally stoked about that. As you can see, you also get the little slip cover highlighting the figure itself. And then when you open it up, you can sort of see the figure in all its glory. All the fists on there, the foam that's fallen out of the cradle as well. We'll have a deeper look at that in a few moments on here. So, very, very quick, very, very simple on here. So let's just seal that back up. So you've already seen the front. So if we have a look at it, I'm just burning my arm on my lights. Just nothing very flash, nothing very exciting. It is what it is. Oops, let's turn that back around. All in all, it's a box, keeps everything nice, tight and safe on there, but the design itself means you can really get into it nice and easy. I like that. I really like that. So in all, I'd give that a 4.5. You know, it's a shoebox. I've seen these a lot, so it doesn't get a brand spanking new price for me. Brand spanking new score for me. But I do prefer these over the others. So yeah, easily 4.5 for me. Okay, so here we are with the figure itself. You know, looking at the head, I like it. It's a good figure. For me, it's better than the Avengers version or even the Iron Man 2, because at certain angles you can still see the Scarlet Johansson sculpt. I mean, looking at it now on the camera compared to above the camera, you can see Scarlet in there. It depends on the angle you've got. A lot of times, when I mentioned with the Anakin, you'll sort of catch it dead on, and then there's other times it doesn't really look like it. What hurts for me most on this head sculpt is the rooted hair. It just pisses me right off, to be perfectly honest. It's a pain in the arse. It does my head in. You know, it's all over the place. It doesn't sort of sit right. You know, it works the way synthetic hair does. I can sort of see right now. There's a strand poking up, so it just winds me right up like that now. So you end up with bits and pieces all over the place, and I just haven't got the patience to sort of get hairspray out and re-sculpt it. I can sort of see why they do it. They want it to sort of sit right, because obviously a lot of female figures will have longer hair, so they don't want to sort of have any issues with the neck articulation. For the shorter hairstyles, though, it does work. They also sort of on the Ripley head sculpt, they use sculpted hair, and that would have fit. That worked really well, and her hair was longer than this one. I'm not really sure what they could have done, to be fair, but it does do your head in. All in all, because it's an earlier figure, you've sort of got to go. Just be a little bit more forgiving, for want of a better phrase. Differences, for instance, are really, really striking. So you look at the Luke Skywalker compared to the Anakin Skywalker. You know, there's just a couple of years difference in there, but the sculpting 20 times different. Just absolutely spot on. Let's give it a middle of the road. Let's just call it a 3 on there. A little bit higher than average on there. If we were looking at it, back in the day when it first came out, I'd have probably actually been all over it. Been like, oh yeah, 4.5, whatever. It hasn't appreciate very well. It's the most accurate. I have to say that it's the most accurate out of them all, for me, until I get my hands on the Infinity War Black Widow, but I do like it. Definitely a solid 3 on the head sculpt. So let's have a look at the figure as a whole. Let's have a look at the outfit and see how that stacks up with the head and the rest of her. So let's have a proper look at Black Widow's outfit, and let's have a look how accurate it is. So cast your minds all the way back to Winter Soldier, still one of the top 5 for my book of the MCU films, and we've got 18 to choose from now. Really well designed. I'm loving the fact that they've got the comic emblem worked into it. I'm loving the stingers on there. But you know, it's let's be honest, it's a bit of a boring costume. Sure, she always has to wear. It's black, and you know that's what she's supposed to wear. So, you know, it is what it is. What's done is done well. Lots of little designs on there, just to keep it movie accurate on there. I'm liking the holster work on there. I'm loving the stingers. 2 different stingers actually. You get the stingers here, which are turned off, and then on here these are ones when it's shown when it's activated. If I just give it a little bit of a twist there, yeah, okay, I'll just turn the entire thing then. There you go. You can see I'm using one of the fists where it's actually showing as active on there. And if we just quickly zoom up, look at the design on that shield logo. I actually noticed that before. Really nice, really tight on there. So on the whole, I really like it. You know, so it's not the most dynamic of superhero costumes ever, because she's Black Widow for a reason. It's going to be black. But the nice little design, the shield logo, for instance, I really like on there. It's movie accurate in my book. I do like the design on it. All in all, 3.5. Very simple on there. So not a lot else to really say about that. Let's have a look at the articulation on it. Okay, so it doesn't need to be said. I'm just going to say what you're all thinking. I need to get a posing score, but it's more about showing the range of motion that she's capable of. Again, I find that the hip joints are fighting. The fighting back makes it a struggle on there. Whether that's because there's an undersuit under there, or whether it's just because of the articulation on the jumpsuit itself, I don't really know. I'm not going to really look deep into it. It does mean that you sort of can't get into a deep running pose or a deep stance on the hips. The knees, though, they do bend really quite well. I'm quite liking the bend you get on there. Similarly with her arms, you can get a nice angle on them. You see, look, there's Scarlet right there. If I see, that's really good. But yeah, back to what we were on about. So yeah, nice deep flex on the elbow there. A good bend on the knee. The ankle itself as well. There is a nice range on there. It's a 2-piece again, I think. Is it? Let's have a look. No, it looks like it's a 1-piece actually. So, do you know what? Let's have a proper look. You guys hang on a sec. We're going to have a bit of a jump cut. So it turned out that it's a sculpted boot on there, no ankle joint on there. So a bit of a letdown all in all. It is going to hurt the articulation in total for me. It is going to affect the ability to put her into deeper stances on there. The arm stance is great. The shoulders, they are sort of limited. I think it's down to, there's like this sort of leather look on the shoulders there. I don't know if you can really see that on the left there. And maybe that sort of means it's fighting against, but for me, yeah, you do tend to struggle a little bit in regards to sort of posing on the shoulders and on the hips. Obviously, there's going to be little to no knee articulation now because of that. So that does take a hit for me, but all in all, it is helped by the knee articulation and the elbow articulation. There is a little bit of ab crunch there too. For me, slightly higher than average. I'll be giving her a 3.5 in total on there, just because you can get the arms nice and tight in. You can move those elbows as well on there. So let's have a look and see all the bits and pieces that you get with her. Okay guys, so here's everything you get with the Black Widow figure. Of course you get the crotch grabber stand on there. because it's one of the older figures, it's the standard oval base on there. These bases are the cheapest chips, to be fair. You can get like 5 for £3 or something daft on eBay now. So I do prefer the newer versions on there, a little bit of grip on there. But, you know, it does what you want it to do at the end of the day. It helps keep it nice and stable on there. The other bits and pieces that we get, let's go to this bit here to start with. So the first thing we get is this little phone. And this hinge at the bottom there, you can't really see what it's saying on there, but it doesn't really matter. I think that's a nice little thing, nice little lad on there. You can also see there on the left is her stinger, or one of the stingers. It's in the off position. We just quickly shoot across. Oops, I need to make this looser. To the right there. Oh, come on, Christopher. You can see there the fact that the other one's actually in an on position on there. Plenty of hands. There's 3 hands there, 3 right hands, one in the fist position, one for the trigger, one for sort of a standard pose as well. And then if we just move across, we've got four for the left. So we've got sort of another trigger pose, a stinger on punch, a stinger off punch, as well as just a relaxed pose on there as well. These are obviously going in with the two hands that she's already wearing as well. We've also got the 2 handguns, which I really like on here. I really do like the design on these. I'm quite new when it comes to sort of guns on these, but I do like the way that. Let's see if I can do this. Here we are. That's really cool. And also, let's see if I can do this while I'm looking at the screen. Probably not. So I actually cut this bit out when I was struggling, to be fair. So if we just get this right down, and that's really cool. I really like that, to be fair. It's a pain in the ass to get out, and you're never going to do it. But of course, you get 2 of those as well. So again, not a huge amount. Nice little details though for it. Of course, you get the standard pegs as well. And as always, which I forgot to show you, instructions. Get them read. Read them, read them, read them, read them, read them. Don't kill your figure. Read them. So all in all, I like the fact it gives you multiple options on there, so you can do more with her. But lots of different there's more options for it. Not a massively huge amount. It's going to be more than the Infinity War one comes out with, which is a different combination of sticks. 3.5. I'd give it a nice and easy 3.5, to be perfectly honest on there. So again, not a lot, but what there is gives a nice range of options on there. So let's get her back out. Let's have a few final thoughts on there. See what else we think about it. So here we are with the final thoughts on here. She's very much a product of her time. The design must be much improved further down the line on here, but the fact is that this figure's a few years old now. She looks really gangly in her arms. The sculpt isn't quite there. The rooted hair's a pain in the neck, but it's a great film. The outfit, the costume is absolutely spot on. Some great little design features on there. The belt, the holsters, the stingers, the options that you get to have the stingers on, the stingers off, are absolutely spot on there. The little details as well, like the shield logo on the arms, really helped this for me. The Black Widow out on the logo on the belt again, I really like it. So all in all, I really like this figure as an early example of the Black Widow. Way better than the design of how she looked in Iron Man 2. Way better than she looked in the first Avengers film. Wasn't quite the Black Widow for me. It's further down the line on here when we've got, for me, this is a more comic accurate Black Widow for me, and this is what I really like. Obviously Infinity War takes that far away, but it'd be interesting to have a little bit of a comparison on there, so that'll take it to, I think, figure number 5. So that's what we've had. We've had Iron Man 2, Avengers, Civil War, this one. So yeah, we've had a fair few different versions of it now. So it'll be interesting to see how the head sculpt holds up against the Infinity War one when I finally get hold of it. As soon as I do, you guys will be the first. And now there's obviously a few out there already, unfortunately, who've got hold of it before me. But that's just the price of being a noob when it comes to this. So all in all, I really like her. I think she's a great addition to my guys in total. Definitely a great addition to the core Avengers team. I think it's a great figure on there. All in all, thanks so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. You know the drill by now. I can't overstate enough. It really does help us newer guys when you hit the subscribe on there, hit the like on there. Towards the end, we're doing this purely out of the love of these things. The fact we're really enjoying. So can't always do these as often as I want to do. That's because real life and real work has to get in the way, unfortunately. Hopefully now the fact I'm doing these in not quite such of a mess as I did the Anakin video on here, things will improve on there. But please keep watching. I hope you enjoy the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks so much.